So after years of being dramatic, when you came out, was it a surprise to your parents? Was it a surprise to you? What was that journey like for you?
That journey was a very interesting journey because I didn't really come out of the closet. I feel like I was more asked out of the closet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my parents, one day I was sitting at the dinner table with my dad, and he was like, how's school? How are your grades? You know, how are your friends? Do you like boys? You know, and I just kind of just popped it out there, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, this got really real. And, you know, I wasn't sure what that answer was. I was still going through puberty. You know, and it's shocking to know that I actually have gone through puberty. You know, I still look like
exclusive news.
I feel like I still look like I haven't even started that journey yet. But that was interesting. My dad just kind of asked me, you know, do you like boys? And that was the first time I really questioned, is that something I have to answer? Like, is that something that's not normal? You know, like, what is that? And I was like, because I was like, yeah, I do. But I didn't know that that was a choice I had to make. Like, not a choice, but, you know, a decision. Right. That I had to make. Do you like boys, or are you gay? Or you?
Were they to answer for it, decide what you were? Because how old were you at that point?
I was like 14 or 15. 14
or 15. So you're still just, everybody's still just figuring everything out, even your own body, and they're asking you to make a choice.
Yeah, and I don't think your body really knows. No. You know, what choice until your body really knows. And at that point, it was still questioning. It was deciding.
Well, at least you know. Was that a supportive feeling, or was it like an interrogation?
I think that in that time, I think it was supportive, but I think I took it as an interrogation.
Okay.
I think that I thought it was a little invasive of my privacy, and I was a little nervous. I didn't know how to answer.
Right.
And I did tell my dad at that point, I was like, yeah, I like boys, but I didn't say that I didn't like girls. You know, I just kind of vaguely said, yeah, I do. And that's kind of where that journey started with my parents, of the coming out process.
And then how did you process that yourself? Like, so your dad just asked you basically if you were gay.
Yeah.
And then as you continue that journey, where did you go from there? You're like, oh, I am gay, or? You
know, I honestly don't really remember, because I think in that time, I was just so confused in general. Like, you know, life is confusing. Life is a journey, and there's so many different elements of it that you're trying to figure out, especially in your adolescence. And I think at that point in time, I think I was just honestly confused and curious. And I think that kind of led to me just asking a lot of questions, researching a lot, you know, like pulling up those Safari tabs, like questioning, what is this? How does this happen? You know, and I'll be a little vague there. But be a lot of vague there.
Right, okay.
But I quickly discovered, you know, after some time, that, you know, my sexual identity wasn't my personal identity, but it was just a part of me, you know?
But when you first got cast in La Cage aux Folles was when you realized that maybe putting on a dress and a wig had some power for you, right?
Yeah, that's how I got my start in doing drag. And RuPaul's Drag Race was on TV. I had watched a few seasons, but very loosely. I wasn't an avid fan. I wasn't a big watcher of the show. And when I started doing drag, I was still doing theater in Indiana as more of a hobby. I wasn't getting cast in a lot of things. I was in this, and I still am in this weird place right now where I can't play older, I can play younger, but there's not a lot of parts to be younger.
Right.
And I didn't want to be Peter Pan again. So I was kind of left at the drawing board of things to do. And at that point in time, there was a musical they were doing, La Cage aux Folles. And I auditioned, not even knowing what the show was about. I just knew that it was something to do, something to keep me preoccupied, and it was theater, and I had to do it. So I auditioned for the show, and I get a call back, and they asked me to come in drag. And I was like, okay, well, I know what drag is. Like, I've watched it on TV, and at that point in time, I wasn't going out to clubs and seeing drag live. So I wasn't really exposed to drag culture, and I was like, okay, well, let's give this whole drag thing a try. And so I did the show. And that was an amazing experience. They educated me, the older queens in the show, because a lot of them were queens from the community that were auditioning to want to be in the show. And they taught me so much about drag culture, which I think that was really important to my drag upbringing, of just, hey, we're going to teach you a lot about LGBTQ culture in general, you know, give you a lot of like the root of drag and how to really emphasize what drag is and build up your own career if you want to do that. And at this point in time, I was like, I'm not going to do drag. I don't know what this is. Like, I'm going to be a big Broadway star. And then, I don't know how, but it just spun from there.
I'm sure that those queens took one and said, oh, girl, we are going to paint this face.
They said, this one is a woman. She was born a woman, and she doesn't know any better.
That's a great thing. That's a great basis to start drag, is with the knowledge of some older queens filling you in.
And you imagine like your first time on a stage performing, and usually for a crowd of people, that can be really intimidating. But mine happened to be rehearsed, week after week in a full-length production, and then they put a wig and makeup on your face, and you're like, okay, go out and do it.
Right.
And it wasn't as scary because I had done it many times in rehearsal process before an audience.
Then after that show, were you like, oh, there's something
I was
that
like,
I've got here?
There's something magical about this. I knew that there was something special about it because I saw drag from the theater angle as my own show. I was like, I can be the producer, I can be the director, and I can be the star all at once.
Yeah.
I was like, if that doesn't have type A OCD written all over it, I don't know what does, but it definitely has Blair written all over it.